Picks up about a yard to the 45-yard line. Deshaun Williams, another talented freshman for Clemson, makes a stop. Herbie, you go back in the season and you take a look at what Clemson did. They torched Auburn, Florida State, went up to Blacksburg and beat Virginia Tech. No team in the country was any hotter. Then they went into that slide, lost 3 of 4, got beat up by South Carolina last week, 34-13. When you talk about a team that has bounced back.
Oh, yeah. I mean, again, they looked the way they did early in the year when they were beating some of those heavyweights early in the season.
David Wilson, little daylight that time, and close to a first down. That may be his best run of the night.
It's been one of those nights. One thing about Logan Thomas that he's going to have to continue to grow, in an area he'll have to continue to improve and grow, is when he faces a defense like this, he's got to be able to get back, make a quick read, and get the ball out of his hands. He's still tonight a little bit methodical with his reads, and a lot of these plays are slower in developing, and by the time they develop, there's somebody in his face.
So we have another penalty call. We've had 9 flags against Virginia Tech and 2 against Clemson. So not only have they played hard and tough, but the Tigers have played smart here tonight.
Substitution. There was 12 men on the defense. That's a 5-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage. First down.
You know, and I think Dabo Swinney deserves a lot of credit for that. I mean, this has been a heck of a slide. You know, the first 8 weeks, they were right up in the discussion about the BCS. Should they be up there? Should Alabama be? Who should be up there? And then they lost, and it seemed to not only affect them that week, but it deflated them, and they lost 3 of 4. A lot of people wondered, with a championship on the line, would they be able to crank it up one more time for the ACC crown? And obviously he's done a good job of preparing them.
On first down, fires middle, intercepted, picked off at the 10-yard line, and that is Meeks, who has done a fabulous job in that secondary, and now he's still running up 49-yard line of the Hokies before the quarterback, Logan Thomas. And you talk about an enthusiastic sideline over there with Kevin Steele and the rest of that defensive unit. That's a 41-yard return.
Just look for the white visor.
Foul on the play.
You'll see.
Interception, first down, Clemson.
How pumped. Here come the oranges. How pumped is Kevin Steele, the defensive coordinator? He's jumping around. He's inside that pile. Brent, you said it. Jonathan Meeks is a backup safety, plays in a nickel situation. He has had a big night. This time, using his eyes, he jumps the route, cuts behind Danny Cole, but we've seen him in coverage. We've seen him blitzing and getting into the face of Logan Thomas. This time, he shows an ability to play center field. Great coverage and great recognition, stepping in front of that for the interception.
Now they pound close to the 50. So a loss of yardage, and it'll be second down on the other side of the 50-yard line. Ellington is the running back. You talk about the performance of Meeks. Reminds us that a fellow by the name of Tyrann Mathieu was spectacular again for LSU. And when you talk about the Heisman, Herbie, I know you had him way up there. Then he was suspended for using synthetic marijuana. And he sort of dropped off the map, and the voters walked away from him. And this will be incomplete.
And you're right, he got in some trouble off the field. But I would argue this. In a year where nobody has had a Heisman moment, the one man who has had several Heisman moments is Tyrann Mathieu.
Tajh Boyd, and he is down at the 49-yard line. Let's bring up a 49. What's very interesting, trouble. Charles Woodson had a moment like that against Ohio State. A couple of them, as you can recall.
Oh, yeah.
The last non-offensive player to win it. I'm not so sure that Matthew wouldn't have won it this year. Now I think he's a long shot.
He is a long shot, but you're right. Think about the last two games, the Arkansas game, and the way he changed that football game with the big punt return, and he creates a fumble. Today, if you watch the game against Georgia, LSU didn't even have a first down, and they had 7 points on the board, but thanks to Tyrann Mathieu. He's a playmaker, he's dynamic, and he's doing it in games that are impacting a team that's undefeated and chasing a national championship.
Well, punter Dawson Zimmerman should be very well rested, because this figures to be Clemson's first punt of this half. That's how well they have played offensively here. With a 28-point lead, 4 unanswered touchdowns, and 7 minutes and 54 seconds away from a bid to the Discover Orange Bowl. Now, I think the Orange Bowl will have a huge crowd this year if it comes up West Virginia and Clemson.
I'm with you.
That's a good matchup now.
Orange Bowl has to be very happy with the results today of Cincinnati winning, which will send West Virginia in, and Clemson with their fan base. They're going to be very excited with the way their season ended here in Charlotte.
So Zimmerman drives this punt. Couldn't quite back it up. It goes in the end zone. It'll come out on the 20-yard line. Charlotte, North Carolina, 38-10. Clemson dominating. First down and 10. And to the 30-yard line is Marcus Davis, who's been relatively quiet here tonight, but that'll move the chains for the Hokies.
He has been quiet, and you know, in a night where they've needed Marcus Davis to be able to get separation, here he comes again.
Over to the corner, came right back with him.
You know, Brent, he's 6'4", about 225 pounds, runs a 4.5, and has a 42-inch vertical. To me, throw it up and give the guy a chance.
There's 3 catches, Herbie, for 40 yards, and 2 of them right here in succession. Second down, and big Logan Thomas firing again, and this time to Drager, the tight end. So a few of the Hokie faithful have headed for the exit, but those folks wearing orange, they want to see that trophy in their possession, and they want to call their travel agent and head to Miami. Thomas up too high, incomplete, and that was Boykin, young man who grew up right here in Charlotte, one of the record-setting performers of the Hokies. And you look at this Virginia Tech team, the only squad they couldn't handle this year in the ACC. You're looking at them right here. Clemson stormed into Blacksburg, beat them on October 1st, and they're looking for the sweep tonight in a neutral setting. Logan will not get the first down.
Brent, I want to congratulate you on behalf of the whole crew for being a big recipient of the prestigious Outstanding Contribution to Amateur Football Award that's going to be given to the National Football Foundation dinner on Tuesday night at the Waldorf. Congratulations to that.
Thank you.
We'll be there to represent you and honor you. Well deserved.
It's because of partners like you over the years that this has been such an enjoyable run. I want to tell you, it's a pleasure coming to work with you and working with people like our producer Bill Bunnell, Derek Mobley, our director down there, Zippy on the keyboard for us, and TD, and everybody else who travels with us, the cameraman. I mean, look at the pictures we've had tonight. It's been an all-star performance by this crew.
Well, it's been a great year, and that's a great honor for you, and I know you're looking forward to it, and we're looking forward to coming in and.
Will you have a cocktail with me, sir?
Yes, sir.
4th down and 7 now, and Logan Thomas throws for the side, and the first down to Marcus Davis. And Herbert, you said it. Throw the ball to Davis.
Yeah, I'm surprised when Clemson started to just, again, come after Logan Thomas and play so much man-to-man coverage. Danny Cole and Jared Boykin are good receivers, obviously, but they don't have the quickness and the athletic ability to get the separation from this Clemson secondary, and I think Marcus Davis does. And now that the game's out of reach, they're giving him a shot.
And he has to throw this one at the feet of Wilson as Jarrett was coming after him. You know, Herbie, I love to talk about the NFL. We all know how many great players come out of the SEC and play Sunday football. And overlooked sometimes is the ACC. In the last 3 years now, the ACC has had 53 linebackers on NFL rosters. That's more folks than any conference in the country. Over the last 2 years, they've had more Pro Bowlers than any conference, with 47. So sometimes, because of the great performance of the great players in the SEC, we overlook the talent base down here in the ACC. These fellas can play a little bit.
And honestly, I think we overlook the ACC because their struggles as teams. They've not had a lot of success. When they formed this conference, the Coastal and the Atlantic, I think they really thought Florida State and Miami and Virginia Tech would be the kind of the anchor schools. The Hokies clearly have held up their end of the bargain.
No question.
Miami and Florida State have not. So people don't think about the ACC, even though they have exceptional individual talent that obviously moves on to that next level.
I agree with everything you said. They have not had that super team here lately. And complete again to Boykin. And the Hokies are marching down the field with 5:48, and of course they trail it by 28 points. Now you think about Logan Thomas, this quarterback, Herbie, only a sophomore, and remember, he really is still learning how to play quarterback. So there's a tremendous future for this young man, despite the fact this looks like a very disappointing evening for him, and that's incomplete.
It'd be interesting to hear. Heather had a good report about David Wilson, who's their go-to guy. But in the second half, when this offense was struggling, David Wilson wasn't on the field. Josh Oglesby was out there. You wonder after the game, when Frank Beamer has a chance to address the media, if he was dinged or if there was another reason that he wasn't out there.
Well, he's a junior, and tonight 11 carries for 32 yards, the ACC Player of the Year. And this is him with the football right now. And he barges inside the 10-yard line. Herbie said at the top of the broadcast, if you weren't with us, that one of the things that you don't know about Wilson is how strong he is.
He is. He's very committed, like most of the Virginia Tech Hokies, to the weight room. And he has broken some records, some running back records. Think about some of the great backs that they've had and how strong and powerful those backs have been. And you look at him at a 205-pound running back, and yet he's in the weight room working overtime.
Picked off at the goal line. This could be a pick six, folks. There's nobody there. Breland, yes, stopped, and that was Wilson who got back on him.
Absolutely.
He had the whole sideline open, and Wilson hustled back, and that's Wilson's best play of the night.
Unfortunately, but it does show the heart that he has. Logan Thomas got back there, but David Wilson, it's the only time we've had a chance to see him actually turn on the jets. But this Clemson defense has done everything that they've needed to do. They step in front of it this time and make the play. Breland has the speed. But boy, this defense has made a lot of plays tonight. That's the second interception for Logan Thomas on the night.
That was just a great day, and thanks to all the mascots who participated. Now, a little bit of bookkeeping here as Clemson barges in. Herbie, let's go back to the interception, because 64 yards, that's the longest interception return in ACC championship history.
And you'll love this, Brent. We said all night David Wilson's fast. Well, here's he's showing his speed in the open field, but more importantly, how about the heart not to give up on that play? And if he doesn't do that, then that is a touchdown and a lot longer interception return for Clemson.
Well, there's the turnover margin that has plagued the Tigers in the last 4 games, and tonight a +3. And by the way, we welcome the audience from Clemson, South Carolina. We are so sorry about the power failure. You missed a great performance. And there's a direct snap to the running back. Little trickeration that time. DJ Howard as Taj Boyd was walking over to the sideline.
There's Chad Morris reaching into his high school
down.
playbook. Oh, Coach, what?
He used this in Texas.
That was great.
This was a Texas
Lake
high
Travis.
school play, and it moved the chains.
That was like a demo of
They
that.
won a state championship with his play.
Back to back. Good for Taj Boyd.
Now, Cale Stout comes in as the quarterback. Cliff Stout's son, the backup for cleanup, as we go to Reese Davis for an update. So twice this year, Reese, those two teams have had great games, and Dabo Sweeney is headed for a bath as the Tigers close in on a trip to the Orange Bowl, and there it is, and it's orange Gatorade. Dabo will wear that with pride. 2:55. And these youngsters from Clemson deserve a lot of credit. They had to listen to the coaches for 2.5 hours. Folks, that's a long meeting if you're a football player.
Absolutely.
You ever attend a 2.5-hour meeting?
No. Never lost 3 or 4, though. I guess that's an accountability meeting.
3rd and 12, and the backup quarterback in there. Hands off to Roderick McDowell. So the mop-up crew is out there, and there's Blake DeChristopher with that great beard of his, tackle for the Hokies, and it has been a tough night.
They got to get Kevin Steele, don't they?
Absolutely.
I mean, he deserves to get drilled.
And he says, you know what, you rest me.
Oh yeah.
He looked up on that big monitor and said, I know you're creeping up on me. But they did a great job with the defense here tonight. And all the coaches, they deserve a whole lot of credit for this performance. And it appears as though they're going to be playing West Virginia. Now, you might remember the name Stout. This is Cole Stout. And his daddy, Cliff, played in the National Football League. And Herbie, the family lives in Dublin, Ohio.
Went to Dublin Kaufman High School, and another coach got it. His brother plays at Ole Miss as a backup quarterback.
Ah, he's a backup at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
All smiles on one sideline, but not on the other. Here tonight, Clemson would head down to the Discover Orange Bowl, where they're expected to be matched against West Virginia. And down on that far side is Boykin, working for Logan Thomas. And a very disappointing night for Virginia Tech, but they figured ahead to perhaps the Chick-fil-A Bowl down in Atlanta. I know that there was speculated that should they come up a loser in this game, that's where they might head. And I believe somebody told me that they would play an SEC team down there. And I may have read in one of the newspapers here in North Carolina this week that there was speculation about South Carolina. But we shall see. That'll all become official tomorrow night. 2nd down and 10. And Oglesby will finish up as the running back here for Frank Beamer.
SEC championship was interesting with Georgia storming out this afternoon, and I think LSU, hearing all the talk about they could lose and still advance to the national title, definitely had an impact on their emotions. As much as they tried to downplay it, they're human beings. But I thought what we really wanted to see is 4 quarters of football, and LSU obviously took control of that game in the second half.
Logan Thomas firing incomplete. And of course, if it comes up, LSU and Alabama make it 6 straight BCS championships for the SEC. 2 of them by Florida, coached by Urban Meyer, who will head to Ohio State for next season. Les Miles won 1, of course, at LSU.
SEC 7-0 in BCS title games. So what happens when you have 2 teams in there? Do you go to 8-1? You're 8-1.
That's
you know what I'm saying? Oh man!
Let's make it 8-1.
That's not right.
Of course. That's it. What a great line. Incomplete. I love that.
You get 2 teams in, and all of a sudden you got an L. It's not right.
And of course, we want to remind you that Monday night, check in and see why the Chargers have backed up this year. They play the Jaguars. And that'll be Monday Night Football at 8:30 Eastern time. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern. And of course, you got to tune in and watch. Come on, man.
Oh, I love that. That is great.
That is
Come
great.
on, man.
So the victory formation. Every coach's favorite formation, and there's a penalty flag. Of course, some oranges have
5 yards, first down.
come down on the field. And you remember those days when Nebraska and Oklahoma used to close it out of the Big 8. Those oranges come flying in Norman or Lincoln.
I love that. I used to love watching that. It'd be freezing out. Somebody would end up looking at
This is dear Steve Spurrier. Dabo and Steve had a little exchange of words over this week, but Dabo telling us he still respects Coach Spurrier.
And Coach Spurrier is saying that he didn't say it.
I guess it was the radio announcer.
It was.
Wasn't it?
Todd Ellis,
we are
I guess,
not LSU. We are not Alabama, but we are definitely not Clemson.
Right.
That sounds like a radio program.
It sure does. What a win for this Clemson team. Just amazing effort.
So here comes the handshake now. Dabo Swinney closes on a very high note. After the Tigers have lost 3 of 4. There's the Dean, Frank Beamer, who tells him good job and wishes him well down the road. And there's Watkins, the rookie of the year. And for Logan Thomas, there will be other games. And some of the fellas are now picking up the orange bowls, going into the stands with their fans.